I wanted to do this vid because this was just a response because I've been watching some of these ESPN FC videos with Shaka Hislop and co, where they've been talking about this whole thing about Messi, the World Cup, and so forth. And I think Shaka Hislop has been watching the football house because he's been echoing a lot of the similar sentiments that I've had. But I wanted just to fully explain to myself of how people say Messi is the GOAT. Remember, the GOAT is actually a phrase that was actually coined by the great Uncle L, aka LL Cool J. He's the GOAT, greatest of all time, so on and so forth. And me retorting by saying that you need the World Cup to win it. And people's argument is that the Champions League is the highest level of football. He's been doing it consistently at a higher level. And this is my response to that. My thing is about degree of difficulty. That's the key thing, and that is the key word that I want people to focus on. Degree of difficulty. Barcelona are one of the biggest clubs in the world. And Gomez has been a great, amazing, and it's argued that he's been one of the greatest club players of all time, and I've said this on numerous occasions. But when you're playing in a team with Xavi, Iniesta, you've been tutored by one of the best managers of his generation in Pep Guardiola. You're given an incredible template to succeed. An incredible template to succeed because when you look at the coaching, the training, the players around you, the systems that has been meticulously done to really cater for you, you've been put at, you're given the best possible chance to exceed and to excel. Degree of difficulty. You don't train that often with your international teammates. You don't have that many tournaments or competitive games. With your club team, once the season starts every week, you're either training or you're playing a game. A week or 2 weeks of a break for international break, but every other week you're playing. So for the best part of 10 months, you are playing alongside your club teammates. In a given year, in a year that doesn't have an international tournament, how many times are you playing with your international team? There may be about 4 or 5 international breaks in any given year. So because you're playing so few games and you have so little time with your international teammates, that makes the degree of difficulty harder. And people say, oh, well, how can you use such an arbitrary thing as a World Cup as being the determiner? And again, Shaka Hislop, I'm sure he copied me with women when I said this. The World Cup is the toughest competition and it is the highest level. Why is it the highest level? Because of the degree of difficulty, because of how teams approach international football. Remember, club is your job. You can talk about the badge and the history. When you play for instance, a Portuguese player playing for an English club. If it's let's say a guy from like Catalonia playing for Barcelona or a guy from Madrid playing for Real Madrid, that is the difference. But a Brazilian playing for a Spanish team or like an English player playing for like a Portuguese team, they don't. I mean, they treat it as a job. Obviously, there's the desire there because you need a particular amount of desire when you play football. But ultimately, the club is your job. Whether you win or lose, you're still going to get paid their wage every single week. But internationally, it's your country. So even if you go against the worst teams, the worst countries, they are going to give 300, 400%. How many times do we see like a 7-0, a 5-0, a 6-0? How often do we see like a completely one-sided game at the World Cup? I don't think you can maybe count on one hand where there's been a completely one-sided game in a knockout game. Like let's say of the past 10 or 15 years. Because internationally it is far harder. So it is harder because you spend so little time within your teammates, and it's harder because every team you play against have a whole nation behind them. So they are going to play at 500 levels beyond what their level truly is. Whether you're playing Panama, Costa Rica, whoever, Japan, whoever, they're going to be playing at a fully high level because they're playing for their country. So they're going to go in even harder. They're going to tackle even harder. They're going to run even harder than they would for their club side. So that's what it is because people feel like the Champions League is not. This is the misconception that people have. In a Champions League game, you may have the best talent. So Real Madrid against Barcelona, Real Madrid against Bayern Munich, PSG against Bayern Munich. on that given stage, you'll have the best talents. And people say, oh, that's a high level because of the best talents. But no. Because even if you're playing against a top quality team, you have a top quality team of your own. Because if you're Real Madrid or Barcelona, you have quality players around you based on the kind of money you can have to buy the very best of the best. And you're trading with these people every single week. But it's in an international game. Do Brazil have all the greatest players in the world? Do Argentina have all the greatest players in the world? Argentina, Germany, Portugal. Are you going to tell me that man for man, their team is as good as Bayern Munich or Juventus or so forth? So again, it goes back to the points I'm making, that degree of difficulty. And because it's of that degree of difficulty, that is why when an individual or a team shines, you have to give them far more kudos than them shining at the Champions League, because it is far harder. So when something is far harder, far difficult, and you succeed through them, it then shows that, yeah, man, you've done all. Because ask any player that what was harder. Even ask the Spanish players, what was harder to win, the World Cup or the Champions League? Let's just be fair here. We also what Barcelona did to Man United in that Champions League final. we also how they totally owned them at Wembley. Ask those Spanish players who won the 2010 World Cup, which was harder to win, the World Cup or the Champions League, which required much more effort, which required much more concentration. Remember, in that same World Cup in 2010 for Spain, Robin could have won it for them. So, and they only won it in extra time, second half extra time. So, the thing that just annoys me and saddens me and disappoints me is how football fans don't appreciate the magic and the special aura that the World Cup has. The World Cup is one of the greatest things that humanity has. It's one of the greatest things that humanity has. Look, man, I love watching the Champions League, but when I watch the Champions League, I'm like, yeah, it's fun. I love it. I've been watching it since I was young. But the World Cup is special. The World Cup is special. And back to Messi, and I think I remember Messi even saying this, that he would trade all of his club medals just for a World Cup for Argentina. And I'm sure if you ask Messi, he'd do that. He would trade all of his medals just for a World Cup for Argentina. Respect the World Cup. Yo guys, thank you very much for this video. Remember to subscribe to the Football Hut, head over here, and to visit the official Half of Football Hut website, just click the link over there.